call 911 and I'm like, there's someone in my house, you know, they were living here. I don't know the situation, but you need to get out here ASAP. So the police come, they're very casual. And they're like, hi, how can I help you?
Hello, you guys. Hello to whoever's watching this video. Um, well, I am a newbie on TikTok. Yeah, shocking, huh? I'm new on TikTok. So I was doom scrolling and I came across this creator named Quietly Emily. And I was shocked. She has some crazy stories on her page. So I thought this one was interesting. Um, First of all, welcome to my channel. This is What in the Drama, and I'll be posting in here. I'll be posting some stories from TikTok and anything that interests me really. And welcome here if you choose to stay. Well, I'll let Emily take over. Her story is very interesting. You're gonna love
And I'm
it.
going to come with receipts. I'm going to come with mugshots. I'm going to come with videos. I'm going to come with police reports. I'm going to come with everything that you can think of so you know that this story is real. I have my husband to my right because he's going to fact check me and be sending me the relevant videos and pictures and so on and so forth throughout this video so you can see. For legality purposes, I'm going to change some names and locations just because I don't want to cross a legal line here. But anyways, I'm going to stick as close to the facts as I can without giving people away. Okay, so we got to take it back to 2021. And in 2021, my husband and I were living in Florida. We had moved down to Florida because that's what everyone did in 2020. And we were living in an apartment.
Now, keep in mind, she did say that she was going to change locations and names and stuff for legal purposes. So she mentioned Florida, but I don't believe it happened down there. Maybe.
At the time, and then we got engaged, and then we were ready to buy a house. We bought our first house in Sarasota, Florida, and we were super excited about it. It needed some work, which we were really excited about, so we were going to flip it. So it's important to note that when we bought the actual house, we made our offer under asking, and pretty significantly under asking, and they took it right away. They didn't even, I don't even think there was like a rebuttal there. We just like got it. And they wanted a really quick closing, and we were cool with it because we were ready to buy our first house. So everything went pretty smoothly, and it got a little weird at closing. So we got to closing, and the couple that we were buying it from were like very upset. The parents were there, they were upset. The whole thing was just very weird, and we thought that maybe it was a divorce, or something of that nature, or maybe a loss in the family. We didn't really know, but anyways, it was weird. Anyways, we close and we start flipping our house like right away. We're scraping off popcorn ceilings, we're redoing the floors, we're painting ourselves, everything we're doing, the two of us, which was really fun. Don't recommend popcorn ceilings if you can afford to buy someone to remove them for you, because wow, that was a project. Anyways, but clearly we had a full-time job, so we could really only do this during the weekends, and our house was vacant from Monday to Friday. Do you see where this is going? Okay, so I got a new Amex, and to keep things simple, I just put my new home address as like the billing address, so that's where they were going to send the new Amex card. So I get a notification that it's been delivered. So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm going to go over to the house and pick it up. So my mom and I are together that day, and we drive over to pick it up. And she was like, this will be great. You can get the card and we can check on the house while we're over there. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. So we go over, we're looking for the card, and it's nowhere to be found. Not in the mailbox, not in the front, on the front stoop. We look under the door, and I'm like, you know what? This is just weird. The card is gone. And she's like, it was probably stolen. I'm like, what? Who's going to steal it? This isn't a bad neighborhood. She's like, Emily, you think too much of people. Someone probably stole it. I'm like, all right, fine. Someone stole it. So I call Amex, and I'm like, hi, Amex. I can't find my card. They're like, what do you mean you signed for it? I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're like, Oh, and we see right here that we declined a charge of $10,000 that you tried to take $10,000 out of the ATM. I'm like, that's funky because it's a credit card and I didn't go to the Publix ATM to try to take.
Hold on, hold on. $10,000. Okay. $10,000? That's crazy.
Take $10,000 out. So I'm sitting on the phone in the car in my driveway. And my mom's like, you know what, Emily? Go take a peek around that house. Like, you need to go peek around. So I walk into the house and I immediately know something's wrong. Something is funky. My sensor is sensing funky. And I walk to the left hallway and there's a bathroom on your right. And I walk inside and the bathtub is filled with dirty water. Like, not like, ooh, a little murky, like brown, yellow water. At first, of course, I call my husband. I'm like, did you fill this bathtub up? And he's like, no. Like, what would I do? I'm like, did you wash tools in it? Like, I don't know. Like, what? He's like, no, I haven't even been there. The last time we were there, we were together. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I just have to check. Then I go to the back guest room and there's newspaper and human feces on top of the newspaper. At this point, something is funky. Then I swear to God that someone is in the backyard, and there definitely was. Okay, so then I go to the backyard. I immediately call 911 and I'm like, there's someone in my house. You know, they were living here. I don't know the situation, but you need to get out here ASAP. So the police come, they're very casual, and they're like, hi, how can I help you? And I'm like, someone broke into my house and they're like trying to live here. My house is vacant Monday through Friday. We're flipping the house, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, no. No one broke into your house. I almost just said her name. I'll edit that out. But anyways, this is Jane Doe. We're going to call her Jane Doe. I'm like, oh, who's Jane Doe? Okay, this is where I'm going to enter her mugshot into the next frame. That's Jane Doe. Okay, so this is the person that was in my house. And I'm like, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's just a squatter. Like, this is going to be easy once you move in. No. They said, oh, no, that's Jane Doe. She stalks this house. She used to live here 20 years ago. And the house was passed down to her daughter who couldn't escape her. So they moved
Escape her?
to the Midwest
Her
to get
daughter
rid of
could
her.
not escape her.
Okay, so the police tell me all about Jane Doe. She's been stalking the
Oh,
house for the past, 10 years,
okay
breaking into the
then.
house, so on and so forth. And I'm sitting there like this. Because what the heck am I about to do? I own this house. I don't have the money to like just up and leave. Like, I have money invested into this home now. I have to keep this house that has a stalker. Okay, let's continue. So I call my husband and I'm like, what do we do? The police are basically like, you have no legal rights until you can like prove that she's actively trying to break into your home and harm you. And I'm like, yo, what? So the first thing we do, of course, is put up cameras. So when we're not there, we can see what's going on. And I'm like, there's no way we're just going to catch her on camera. Wrong. So in this next clip, I'm going to enter a few videos of her trying to enter the home. Not aggressively or anything like that. I'll get into that a little bit later. But, I'm going to show you. You will also notice in this video that she's wearing a pair of black shoes. Those are my shoes. She took my shoes too. And she's just walking around town in my shoes. I also feel like I need to say that clearly she is a crippled, drug addicted woman who has suffered from major mental health problems. And it is, of course, a systematic issue. And I'm not saying that this is all her fault by any means, but we were put in a very troubling situation with this because it was unsafe for me to be home by myself. It was unsafe for my husband. Like, it was just unsafe because it was an incredibly unpredictable situation. Okay, so shortly after I find out that I'm pregnant, woohoo, we were so excited. We were trying to get pregnant, and it was very exciting to find out that I was pregnant. That being said, it took things to like a different level of I need to get out of the situation because we were like, you can't be here by yourself. So, on the next clip, I'm gonna show you a video of her trying to break into the house with another person.
Okay, her I get, okay? I get it. She's not okay. Things happen. She's on rugs and stuff like that. But what about the other person? Who is that with her trying to break into your house? What about the other person? I mean, listen, I understand everything she says about, the situation and all that, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she is not responsible for that person. She doesn't know her. You know, I do feel empathy and things like that for that lady and stuff, but uh, sh Emily was put in a very, very, very hard position. I don't know. I don't know.
So now you're starting to see like the anxiety that I had when I was living there. I also had two like doors that opened up because it was a ranch style home in my bedroom, and I couldn't even look towards those windows even with the shades shut because I was so scared that she was going to be like peeking and staring at me. So it was just like all around a really really bad situation. Okay, I hate to do this and I'm going to like release them back to back, but I have to do a part 2 because I'm running out of time. So come back for part 2.
Whew, the anxiety. The anxiety. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. But she's braver than I am, I'm telling you that. I don't know. All right, let's go for part 2.
Part 2, my friends. So at this point, I'm married and I am living at home with my parents because I am pregnant and don't feel safe living in my own house. I will say the house was done and it was so cute. Like I did a great job. I say I because come on, my husband like did all the manual stuff, but I picked everything out. So Jane continues to come to the house, and clearly we get everything on video when she's coming through the front and the back door. We did not include cameras like 360 around the house because we didn't think that we needed them. Unfortunately, we were wrong. We did need them. She was we lived on it was a ranch style home, and she was crawling up the side of the house onto the roof, like yelling to the aliens. She was getting into the house because she was putting a piece of rag in between the window and the windowsill so it wasn't locking, so she was able to get in and out. So, it was just no good. The neighbors would call us and be like, hey, just so you know, like Anne broke in, we can hear her. She's like screaming about Queen Anne, or Queen Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Queen Elizabeth, not Queen Anne.
She was yelling to the aliens? See, this is where the story starts getting really sad. Really sad. I should have told you guys that. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate story. Very interesting, but
God, Queen
unfortunate.
Anne, who would yell about that? They would also like call us when she would like crawl onto the roof or she was circling the house. Like our neighbors were looking out for us, and they knew that this was an issue with the previous family. So, okay, so this is where things really started to change for me. So I was clearly pregnant at this point, and my husband and I decided to give the house a go. We did. We were like, we cannot live here anymore. Like, we will be really adamant about locking the windows. Like, we have got to like live in this house. Like, we paid all this money. We put all this furniture in it. Maybe if we're there, she won't come. Like, if she sees cars in the driveway, XYZ. So I'm at the house by myself one evening. My husband was working as an orthopedic trauma medical device rep, so he was on call all the time, which meant like really long hours. He was like in the OR in the middle of the night, XYZ. And she came to the house, and I saw her on the camera come to the front door, and I just like stayed where I was, and I didn't call the police because one, they don't do anything, and two, all they do is arrest her, and then they would put her in a psych ward.
See, this is a problem right there. This is a so where oh, they'll just take her, put her in a psych ward, and just what?
And
Let her go
then
after a few
they would
days?
medicate her,
My
release her,
God.
and then it was like it would
This is
happen over and
sad.
over
This
again.
is
At
really,
this point, I
really
knew I was
sad.
probably going to want to sell the house, so I didn't want to rack up a bunch of police reports. And I'm sorry if that makes me shallow, but it was just the reality of my situation. Don't judge me. Think about what you would do in my shoes. Anyway, so
Shallow. Don't judge you. I don't know anyone, anyway, in my personal life. I don't know about people out there because, anyway, I don't know anyone that would ever judge you in that situation. I would have lost it. I would have lost my mind.
see her
Mm-mm.
at the front door, and then I see her go around back, and I lose sight of her on the cameras, and then I see her come back to the front, and then I lose sight of her again. Then she comes back to the front, and she's just standing there at the front door. So it's seriously like a fucking horror movie. Excuse my language, but it really is. So I go to the front door. Of course, I don't open the door, but if you see in my previous, in the part one, there's a blue front door and a glass pane on one side of the door. And I went to the glass pane. I had a knife in my hand because, like, what was I gonna do? And I said to her, I do not want to call the police. Please just leave me alone. Like, please leave me and my family alone. Like, you don't live here. I live here. This is my home. And I'm really sorry that your family did this to you and you were abandoned. And I'm sorry, but like, this is my house and this is where I live. And I don't know what to do, but please leave. And she like stared at me, and I was like, I don't want to call the police. I don't want to call. And of course, I'm like shaking because I'm so scared. And what does she do? She licks up the entire glass pane. She did then walk away. She like turned around and walked away, but I like lost. She walked down the street, so I was like shaking. I think I did get into my car and I drove to my parents, and I was like, I'm never going back there ever again. Okay, so at this point, I put my investigative hat on and I drive to the police station the next day. And I said, I need you to pull every police report because it's public record of the home of this home that I own. And they said, okay, give us like a week and we'll send you, and you can either come pick it up or we'll send it to you. So I call every day. I call every single day. And I'm like, I need to see every single incident, what it was for the past like 20 years, and just like see what's really going on. I'm not going to include like the actual police reports because that has like the previous family's information in it. And I just like don't find it appropriate to share that. But here's what I will tell you. Let's take it back to, I think it was the 90s when she bought the actual home. And she basically was running drugs.
Um, I had to mute her on this part because she's giving us a little history about Jane Doe, telling us how she was, partaking in some illegal activities in the house when she bought it back in the 90s. So,
Details of the case, I guess, or whatever. This was from like 20 years ago. Then there were like multiple incidents of overdosing on the front lawn, not just of her, of other people. Then there was another man that she was married to, and I'm not going to include his name either, but he was in prison for attempted murder on a police officer. He tried to run him over with a car. Um, so just like going on, and things were like all connected to the property that I owned. So after I read all of this, I, sat down with my husband and we went through it together, and we decided that we were gonna try and sell the house. Now, I know what you are thinking in your brain. You're like, how could you do this to another person?
No, that is not what we're thinking, Emily. We're thinking how can you be so patient? I would have been out of that house the same day that credit card was stolen. I would have been out. Out. The same day I saw that mm, uh, piece of you know what on that newspaper, I would have been out. Who's gonna clean that?
And
I don't think
you
so.
think that I didn't think that every day? I did. But at the end of the day, like, I had to get out of this situation, and this is the only way I could do it. So I went to a realtor and I gave her the full story. I gave her all of the police reports, the mugshots. I gave her all of the research that I had done and collected on the situation, previous homeowner situation, whole thing. And she was like, listen, like, you technically aren't doing anything illegal. You don't have to disclose this information. So we did not. And we moved up to New Jersey and we rented, and then we waited for the house to sell, and then we bought a new home once that happened. This is not something that should be celebrated at all because it's incredibly sad, and she lived an incredibly difficult life. But she was hospitalized, I think, in 2022. I would assume something drug related and or mental health related, and she left the hospital, and I think they tried to find her and they couldn't, and she passed. And it's just really incredibly sad that that's how her life ended and she was alone, and it makes me very sad. But at the end of the day, just an absolute insane story, and it is one that I bring up when conversation dulls. So I thought I would share it with you all. Anyways, listen, guys, I swear I have like a lot of traumatic stories. I've lived many lives in my 30 years. Anyways,
So, guys,
enjoy.
what did you think of the story? What did you think of the story? If she did not have all this, you know, video recording and all this proof, I would have, I would have thought that she got that story from a Lifetime movie. But it is an incredible, incredible, sad story. Um, I know I laughed. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed. Some parts were, I found was very, very sad. Well, if you made it this far in the video, I thank you and consider coming back for more. I will have more stories, not exactly like this, but more stories from TikTok and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.